and then start recording again. All right, so again, we have our mission, we have our objective. Turn, the name of the game is turn these 3 pages right here that we have on our right side from the catalog into this synthesized, compiled one sheet that explains the whole combo, inscribe and intersect in this case. Okay, so here we go, guys. You guys help me with this, okay? I know that you guys are probably working on your assignment, but you know, let's try to focus our attention on this real quick. So start out with a new file. Let's do the letter size, right? 8.5 by 11 inches. Let's do portrait. And I was originally thinking of doing the 6, but you know what? Let's actually just do, how about, what if we just do 3? Right, so you should have 6 right now that you're submitting today. Let's actually do diagrams just for 3. So let's create 3 artboards. Okay, so width, height, units, orientation, artboards, go. Right, so we create that right here. Now I want you guys to have some sort of fun with the graphical depiction of this. Now notice that here I was playing with different backgrounds. Feel free to do the same, right? So it's nice to have the white one is, you know, not that exciting. Probably you're gonna do it a lot in your career. Here I switched it up for black, but you'll see how later on, you know, you can even play with different colors, and you start getting a different kind of a board, right? So I want you guys to you know, have creative freedom in terms of the design of the board. Let's just set some bottom line criteria for everyone to follow. Okay, so I like to create my backgrounds with a layer. Right? So I'm actually going to use that layer right there to turn this into a background. And in this background, I'm going to draw a rectangle. I am going to give it a fill, right? So I come over here and I remove its background, and I set this background right here, right? But this background can be any color, really, guys, right? I mean, so I can just maybe for right now just try something different. I'll do, maybe I don't want a black. I'll do like a gray, right there, right? And you know, let's copy this right here. Okay, and I like to have my background on its own layer so that I can actually lock it, right? So I come over here and lock it. Lock my background layer. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer. All right, this new layer I'm going to use for the titles, and let's go ahead and use the same titles that I have, guys. Right, so we're going to have the title, which is the main title, or the sheet title, which is going to be the combo name, right? So describe and intersect, and I'm actually missing this space right there. So we have the title. We're going to insert the subtitle. We're going to create the operation inscribe. We're going to do the operation, and then we're going to have procedure, and procedure. I'm going to sheet right now and I'm going to copy it, but I am going to give you guys the names. I'm going to use edit, paste in place, and on this board right here, edit, paste in place. All right. So notice that I'm not showing you guys how to do text. We definitely covered how to do text by now, right? I am telling you guys where to place this text, okay? And I'm even going to give you the font sizes right now. So title, sheet title, we have a font size of 24, right? Subtitles, we have a size of 14. And again, guys, what I'm giving you is a guideline. Feel free to experiment and to have creative freedom, because again, this 14, it's not that big of a font size. It looks big because of the font type, I think, right? And notice that I have different font selections. I have here the Berlin Sans for that main title, and then here I have the subtitle right there, right? So set up your title and subtitle. Set up your operation and combo titles which is the operation and the operation name, operation and operation. And we have the combined operations, which is the last one, inscribe and intersect, right? Those are all matching. Those are all the same size. Those are all the same deal. Now notice that these, in my case, I have a 14. The first word is bolded. The second one is not. Underneath that, I have the title procedure. That procedure is on a 10, very small, and it's regular. Right? So I have that right there. Right? Flipped. Flipped. There you go. So that should give you guys your base sheet. Again, I'm getting the titles from the document, right? So I'll share with you guys this one right here as an example. Notice that I have the first operation name, the second operation name, and then the combo together, right? So that's what I have right here, and then we have the procedure, and then we also have these little numbers right here. So I'm gonna copy this ones right here. I'm gonna do it, paste in place. I'll say that I have those right there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The sequence might change, the steps might change, but that's kind of a case by case. Now notice as well that we have the line right here. So that's easy, right? I can come over here and do a line. Give it a width or thickness. And notice that I'm following a little bit what the as a graphical cue. Like, hey, that's cool, that's interesting. So I'll do that, right? So I have that little square at the end, right? So the way that I can do that is by going to a stroke, right? And creating, giving it the it's not gonna let me do that, but if you click on stroke and over here, right on the arrowheads, you can select the square. You know, you can select multiple things. I guess you want to have fun. I just like to keep it simple, so I'll do the square. And speaking of keeping it simple, I think it might be too big, so I'm actually gonna reduce it a little bit, give it a 70% size. And it's not a big deal, but there's this tool right here where it says the align. Notice the difference between those two, right? Right here. As I change those settings right here. And so stroke, that right there. So I like to have it this way, right there. Okay. So I have set up our sheet. I can copy this. Notice that I have this line over here. I can use my A tool and I extend this right here. And following some graphic conventions, I have gone ahead and removed the endpoint out of this line right here. Right, so I remove the arrowhead and I leave it plain like that with a none. Right, so we have right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and file, save as. Right, form, where to design. So where to design form diagrams. We save that right there. Okay, so far so good. Any questions? No. Okay. All right, guys. So now what do we need to do? Well, we now need to actually create the content, right, for this port. Right? So we're actually starting with, in this case, for example, we're starting with inscribe, right? And we're going through its operation, okay? So the way that I recommend doing that is to actually open up the book into the operation that you're trying to depict, in this case, inscribe. Study the kind of drawings that you're gonna need so that you can then draw them. Okay, what do I mean exactly? Well, that I come to your we come to your Rhino space, right, where you have your operations that you guys are submitting today. I can copy those, and notice, right, I have copied the base volume. Here, I'll start it from scratch, right? So I can copy the base volume right here. From there, I can copy that. Notice that I am using color as a cue for this. So I have I'm gonna set my first step right here, right? So I'm gonna get right. Oops, maybe not like that, right? So I have base volumes on the left, and then here I start labeling this, right? So this guy turns into construction layer, right? Start moving this, do that, and then copy it, right? And do the Boolean difference, right? So I subtract from that one with that one, right? And that should be the end result, right? And I changed this one to its right layer. So notice I have gone ahead and translated this 2D procedure into a 3D procedure, and I have gone ahead and enhanced it, right? So step 1 is base volumes. So I have it right there. Step 2 is the insertion, right? Step 3 is the actual inscription, right? The inscribing part of it. Now, notice that I'm not done yet, right? For starters, I know that this is going to give me problems right here, this drawing, right? So I'm actually going to do a Boolean difference, right? Boolean difference. But I subtract this guy from this guy, but I'm not going to delete the input, right? I'm actually just going to leave it like that, right? So I have that right there. Okay, so it could be argued that I am done drawing the process, right? But there's one more thing that it's not here, right? Which is the little arrow. And we can draw that on Illustrator. I like to draw it on Rhino, at least to start it on Rhino, so that I can actually work the position of it. Okay, so notice that I created a new layer called arrows, right? So I can get into that layer. I can type line and do a vertical line. I am just going to draw a vertical line for right now. Let's say maybe there. And then I can position it. Maybe that right there in the mid. And then move it a little bit. I'm just kind of eyeing this. But since I'm working 3D, I'm like, well, I mean, I think it would be better if I actually have 2 arrows. You know, I think complemented these drawings, because again, it's not just a copy exercise, right, guys? It's not just about copying, you know, what you see straight from the catalog. There is some creative input into all of this, and some modifications to be made into this. Okay, so I would recommend that this these lines, right, the dashes and the arrows, you draw them in Rhino, and you edit them in Illustrator, right? And it will make more sense as we continue. Okay, so I have my base volumes right there. Okay, so let's set this up just like Samira, right? Because these are now, right now it's a Rhino file, right? And these are all images on our screen. But as Samira mentioned, we need to turn this into lines, right? And for that, we can use the make 2D command so that we can edit on Illustrator. So let's go ahead and do that, right? So the first thing that we need to do is set up our view, okay? So we want to select our objects. We want to go to set view, and we want to set up an isometric view, right? A big component of this drawings being successful is them being in the isometric view, right? So I'm going to set up a southeast view, southeast isometric. Notice that it's going to zoom out all the way, but that's why I selected the geometry first, and then I go right here and click where it says zoom selected, right? And I go zoom selected. Okay, so I have my my components. I have my arrows, and I have the right view. The next step would be to do what? Make 2D. Right, make 2D, and select the objects, right? So enter. In this window right here, we want to do the view. We let's leave the properties to input objects, and let's tangent no, hidden no, silhouette no, no. So the only thing that we want is to group the output and hit OK. So it's computing, it's processing. It's taking a few seconds, in this case 1.8 seconds. Now remember that the next thing that we need to do, guys, is go into your top view. Click again on the zoom selected, because right now it should be selected since it was just created. It would bring you right onto this screen right here, and I'm going to drag it out of there, right? And I'm going to place it, you know, right next to wherever I'm working, which is over here, right? So here it is, right? So we have the 3D versions of them, and we have the 2D versions of them as well. Okay, so let's maybe start there, right? So that we can actually start using some of these drawings to generate our board. Okay, so the next step would be actually to export. We're exporting our 2D drawing, okay? The one that it was the make 2D. Right? So we selected at export, things, location, file name, and file format, which is really important for us, right? So I'm going to select the project folder. Let's make sure that we give, so this would be, this is inscribe make 2D. Oh, I don't need to be yelling. Inscribed make 2D. The format, it's important, guys, is that AI, it's that The important part is that it is an AI file, an Illustrator file, right? So let me clear my screen right here. So again, location, defined, file name, and format being an Adobe Illustrator file. I go ahead and click save. This window, I can just leave OK. And that's it. All right. Next, we can come to our Illustrator file, our empty one. And we can go onto the folder. And here is the file that we just created, right? Inscribed make 2D. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. I'm going to go ahead and group them before I move them. So select them, Control G, select them, Control G, select these and Control G. All right. I can then select them, Control Copy, Control Paste over here, is them where they go. Okay. I should create a new layer over here. Or even better, rename this layer as Make 2D. So titles is in its own layer, 2D on its own layer, and layer 2, well, I guess we don't need it right now. Whoops. Right. So, okay, so we're making progress. So we have, you know, some lines right here, right? But we want to further enhance this drawing, right? So for starters, this line, notice that right now has a gray color. I'm going to set it to a white, right? So I'm going to double click on that. Go to color swatches, white, okay. That way it contrasts a little better. I can come onto this next drawing right here. Notice there is a number of things that I like to change, right? So again, for example, I want to switch all of these lines right here to be white, but I don't want to select them all individually. Right? It's kind of you know, not as fast. I can just select one. I go to select, same, fill and stroke, and it selects all of those lines that have the same attributes. I can press I for eyedropper, and I match that right there. Okay. Now next, you see that, and again from the example, I have gone ahead and again clarify a little bit the drawings. So we're missing some dash lines over here and the arrows. And so arrowheads and dash line. Right. So arrowheads and dash line. Right. So let's go ahead and edit those. I can double click on this and give this to guys over here an arrowhead. My personal favorite one would be the number 10. Notice that I didn't get the orientation correct. I can press right here and swap start and end, and now they're going on the right direction. Notice that I'm missing some dash lines over here, so I'm going to go ahead and draw those. Right, so I can double click right here, and I can do that right there. And I can actually even better borrow one of these lines right here, make it a line right there. This one, I can just adjust it right there. Now this guy is right here. are going to match this one over here, except that they're going to be dashed. Right? So I think it was like a 3, 4 something. Okay. So we have that right there. Right? So notice that I went ahead and added those. Those are extra, right? Those didn't come from the Make 2D. I am adding those for clarity. Right? And I have that right there, and I have that. I have that. Right? Next, we have the end result. I'm going to copy this guy over here. Now for the end result, notice that I want you guys to add graphically the outline, right? That actually gives the volume to it. Notice that that's just around it. I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute. Notice that we have a different line weight on the edges, and notice that we have this also construction lines which are the dash lines, which actually come from the catalog, right? That would be this lines right here. Whoops. This one's right there. Notice that my orientation is different. That's okay. All right. So so again, we can start off by making this bigger, right? Because this is the final result. Notice that I have gone ahead and make all of the lines white. So I'll go ahead and switch that. I'll go to color swatches, white, okay. I have that right there. Now the outline, guys, the outline, you don't have to draw it again, right? You can just get it from here. So check this out. I'm gonna go around, right, and selecting the outline, right? I'm holding my key, my shift key. And then I press Control J. Notice that what that does is joins it, right? You see, I create that outline. And then from there, I can bump it up. Right, so that I have that thicker outline. Okay, I can then reduce these other lines in here for something, you know, maybe like a 0.75. Is that what I have right here? The outline, I have it as a 2, and the interior lines as a 1. Okay, we can do that. Well, actually, I'll leave those as 0.75, like that right there. Notice that according to this drawing right here, I am missing this dashed line right here that is actually showing the traces of the operation. No worries, I can draw a line there to there. The same thickness, except that this ones are going to be what? Dashed, correct. Right, so we have that right there. Okay. Lastly, we'll see that we have some color, right, at the end of the diagram, right, at the end of the diagram. So how can we do that? Well, we can go back to our Rhino drawing. Notice that I'm going to get into a rendered view. Now, your guys' render view, it should be like this, right? I mean, by default, it has no materials, but notice that I have gone ahead and matched the color of the lines or the layer color. I've gone ahead and matched the material color, right? So that I can assign it that color on its render view. I set the view again. It's very important that they match. So set view southeast, zoom selected. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm actually going to move it aside from the rest of components. So I'm going to make some room over here, select this and make some room over here, zoom into it again, right? And create this view right here. Now I'm going to show you guys a trick. Some of you guys might know it already. Some of you guys may not. This might come handy at some point, right? So We're all familiar with the clipping tool. I would say if you want to have a dynamic background that you actually can blur the background, don't do a clipping clip, right? Don't do a clipping plane. Do a view capture, and don't do a clipboard either. Do a file. And within this window right here, you have the settings, you know, and then choose transparent background. The resolution, we can leave it as is. Right, so I can do OK. Now, it's very important, guys, if you want to maintain that transparent background, that you actually right here under type, you change that file type into a TIFF. I think PNG might work too, but I know TIFF worked because I was playing with it yesterday. So TIFF, now we can call this describe render. We come over here and we go edit, paste, whoops, sorry, file, place. I was kind of like, what? Either file, place, and then we go to the folder, projects. Inscribe render, we place it, and I click. But notice that it's really nice to have the transparent background, guys, right? Because if not, you're gonna have the white margin. And what I mean is that if you just do an edit, or if you actually just do a clipping from your screen, all right, a snip as they're called, and you do this, and you save it, and you know, capture 11 maybe, for example, and you do a file, place. You have that white background, right? Which there's ways to actually get rid of it, but why bother if we actually have a tool that can get rid of it automatically, right? So notice that render right here, I'm going to create its own layer. I'm going to call this maybe just renders. I'm going to, well, first I am going to get rid of some of the extra kind of space that it has. So I go to crop image. It has a little shadow on the ground that I think it's kind of cool. So I don't want to leave it. Right, and apply. And so I come over here and I place it. Now, remember, we want the lines to be on top of it. I'm actually going to move it, change the order so that the make to D is above the render, right? And we change that layer right there, right? So I don't know if you guys saw that right there. I'm going to go ahead and play with this positioning. I can scale this up right here. And there's something off. You guys see? Something off, and I could actually kind of see it already with my make to be that my lines are not matching. Right? It's actually good that I'm running into this problem because we don't want that, right? So everything looks good right here on the front. It's all out of whack out here on the back. So most likely what happened is when I was making my make to D, I rotated my view and I didn't realize it. Okay, we gotta go back and change that. It's not a big deal, right? So I can make sure that I set my view again. Zoom select, well, actually set my view, isometric southeast, zoom selected. I really don't need all of them. I just need this one. So I'm just gonna make 2D of this. You shouldn't have to do this again. It was just me that some reason I kind of messed up when I was generating this one right here. I think I am somewhere over here. Right, and actually you can see, or we should be able to see that how they're a little bit different. Should. All right, let's give this another go. Export. AI. I don't want to override the other one, so inscribe make 2D. I'm going to call this make 2D group. Okay. Open it. Copy it. Group it. Make it smaller. Format it. Right. So again, real quick, I can go around and select the outline. Press what? Control what? Control A. Join. And I match that outline. Select these lines right here. Match this outline right here. And I'm missing my dash lines right here, from there to there, and from there to there. Select them, shift, match. There we go. Get rid of that. Bring this guy in here. And we have that right there. And we have created our first component of the board. Okay. Notice as well that the background can change. Let's say that I wanna select something, something different. Can create something. Well, that's kind of hard to read. From our color theory, I don't know. Right, you can create something like that. It does give you that kind of shadow. Okay, if you want to keep it or not. There's a really easy way to actually get rid of it. Very helpful tool as well. Right? You can select this outline. Edit, paste in place. Select the image, select the outline, Control 7, and you can get rid of that shadow either if you want to. And just send this send to back. There we go. And that's how you can get rid of that shadow if you don't want it, or if you're or you can just crop the image more, just kind of like bring it right there. But I'm gonna go ahead and change back my background. You can do all sorts of different techniques right there. Wow, it's really hard to read. Maybe a little bit better. I'm still a fan of the gray. All right. Oops, and I locked that and get rid of this over here. Okay, guys. So let's recap, right? So I want to have a board with, or 3 boards with 3 sections each, right? Operation, operation, and then the combo. We are complementing by showing some of the hidden lines that actually show the geometry that is within it. We have the end result with make-to-be lines and renders. And we have at the end the combination, which again, this combination is not part of the reading or the catalog. This section right here, I created that, right? And notice here, even I think I brought this up on last class, right? I think there's a sort of a process that the catalog, you know, skips, right? So if you look at my screen right here, this is the method that I was following, you know, to do the inscription intersect inscription combo. But I noticed that the book doesn't really talk about this rotation, right? I mean, it does the insertion into the, you know, this base volume, but it doesn't talk about that is rotated, right? So I drew this arc or this circle, semicircle, on top of the form, so that I could actually depict right here that the form has been rotated. Okay. How do you guys feel about that? Everyone still there? I feel like I'm just talking to the air, but you know. You make it seem so easy. Well, I mean, I had to prepare for the class, so I did this already yesterday. So, but don't get me wrong. Actually, I spent a lot of time yesterday figuring, you know, how to put it in a concise way to share it with you guys. Because if you guys see my modeling area right here, I tried it multiple ways. Like I know how to do it, but I'm trying to show you guys the fastest way of doing it, and not give you guys too much blah blah blah. But it's just practice, Italy, just like anything, you know. I mean, you'll get better at it. But that's why we're doing this, so that we can practice. Okay. All right. Let's do this, guys. It should be fun. It should be fun. Let's see, guys. Let's try it. All right. I mean, pick 3 of your 6 variations and try it yourself. And let's have it do before the end of next class, to give you guys some time to work on it during next. Well, to give you guys a chance to answer or to allow some time for me to answer questions on Tuesday. Let's get ready on Tuesday to present at least. So for Tuesday before class, guys, I want to see at least 1 sheet. Just one. Tuesday before class, I want to see 1 sheet. If you have more, better. But I want to see at least 1 sheet of this kind of operation right here. With its 3 categories or sections. Now, ojo guys, watch out, right? So one of the criteria is that you may only use 1 color and red. So notice that I'm using red for the kind of like the actions, like the pull, rotate, push. And the other color that I'm using strategically is the teal. But the teal matches the render color as well. So only 1 color to pick or to use. And notice that I'm following again the process that is right here, and that's how I'm actually that's how I know what to add color to, right? So that's kind of what I'm using as a reference, right? So we do that, at least 1 for next class, and then, you know, we'll talk about the rest. But again, we're doing 3, okay? Questions, guys? Anything that, you know? What is better, make 2D or export? For this exercise, Idali, make 2D. Make 2D is better. Well, it's not that it's better, but it's what works best. I guess it is better. Make 2D first and then export as an AI file, right? So make 2D first and then export as an AI file. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's again, let's just try at least one. I am gonna create an upload so that you can upload it, all right, before next class. At least one. I just want to see how the process is looking. Okay, so we'll call this like a little schematic sheet, or you know, like a progress sheet. I just want to see one, and I just want to see the graphic methods. Yes, so I'll do that, Dante. I'll upload a copy of this board right here as a reference. Yes. No problem. You're welcome. Okay. Well, if there is no more questions, I'm not. Yes, Karina. So we're gonna submit 3 of them, right? Because this is just the practice for your project, right? So we're just. I was thinking of doing the 6, but we can use that time to actually work on your project. So 3. So just 3. Oh, so just be clear. Okay, so just 3. Yes. And then Idali, I will definitely try to upload this on YouTube. It just takes a little bit of time to upload each of them, but I will definitely upload it on Blackboard for right now. But feel free to record it if you need. But I mean, it'll be on Blackboard. Oh, I guess is that you cannot watch the video from Blackboard on your phone. Is that the problem? Maybe, I don't know. Let me. Okay, for later on. Yes, I know. So I'll do my best, Idali. I'll do my best for sure to upload this on YouTube as well. Yes, I understand. When class is over, because you are gonna need this content. You know, not necessarily maybe. Well, I can see you guys using this for your current studio project, but later on, definitely you're gonna need it. So I'll do my best and upload this on the on YouTube as well. Okay, just give me some time. I just need to, because I need to download it, I need to format it, and I need to re-upload it again on YouTube, and it just takes time. Yes. So tonight we talked about that, right? Tonight is the 6 combinations, just like this, Pablo. Thank you, Daddy. So one more time. The one board is due before next class, and the final 3, they're due at the end of the day next class. Does that make sense? So I want to see one board before class begins next class, just to see how things are going and just clarify a few things. But I want to see them before class, so probably it'll be the night before that, so that I can see them in PDF. And then you have, the idea is that you have part of the class next class and part of the rest of the day next class to finish and upload the 3 on Blackboard. So 1 before class, 2 more by the end of, or the final 3 by the end of class or the day. No problem, Kaina. You are welcome. Okay. Give it a shot. Where things get a little bit more exciting and more interesting is when you start working actually on the operation of the combination. This ones right here. And I noticed that 3 steps was not enough for me, so I actually had to do 4 steps. Some of you guys might have to do 5 steps. I don't know. It just depends on the operations and the sequence that is required in order to achieve the end result. But notice that for that one, you have no, there's no outline for that. You have to create that outline yourself. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Well, it's been fun. I really enjoy doing these drawings. They're just really, really cool drawings. Hopefully you enjoy them as well, and have fun as well. Okay. Stick around if there's any questions. If not, I'll see you guys next class. All right. Good luck with your other classes. Bye, Karina. Bye, Salida. You're welcome, Pablo. Thank you. You're welcome, Colin. Thank you. Bye, Dante. Thanks, Marcus. You too. Thank you, Julia. Great class today. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, Idali. You got it, okay? Just keep practicing. Don't give up. You got this, okay, Idali? And Andrea, you're welcome, Andrea. I'll see you next class. You're welcome, Jose. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you next class.